Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the February 23rd, 2022 Zoning Board of Adjustments meeting. Our next meeting will be March 30th at 2022 at 7 p.m. here in the Matthew Thorne room. And if everyone could please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Talking to me as a dog.
Not you, the dog. There's a dog back here. You got much people that just sat down.
And Ronnie, if you could read the preamble.
Good evening to those in attendance and watching at home. For the benefit of those who have not previously attended a zoning board hearing, the procedure is as follows. The petitions will be heard in the order they appear on the agenda. However, the chair may change the order at their discretion. The board will treat all petitioners, their representatives, abutters, and other interested parties fairly and with respect. The petitioner will be asked to give an overview of their petition and read through their responses to the criteria applicable to their case, allowing for the board to ask questions after each item. State law and local ordinances establish the criteria that must be met in order for the board to grant approval to the petition. And it is the petitioner's responsibility to demonstrate that they have met each criterion. Following the presentation, the chair will open the floor for public comment, either in favor or opposed to the request. If necessary, an opportunity for the rebuttal will be offered to the petitioner and the public. However, discussion will not be allowed to devolve into back and forth arguments. All comments made shall be directed towards the chair. Should a question be asked, the chair will pose the question to the petitioner. Afterward, the chair will close the public hearing and the board will deliberate and vote on the petition. At this time, please silence all devices.
For anybody that is looking to speak tonight for any reason, I do need to swear you in. So if everyone could please raise your right hand. And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? All right, thank you. So we do have a full board tonight, which is great. The first item we have is the Home Health and Hospice Care Petitioner Owner Variance under Section 2.02.1.a of the zoning ordinance to permit the expansion of an existing hospice facility in the R4 residential district where not permitted. The parcel is located at 210 Natticook Road in the R4 residential and aquifer conservation districts, tax map 2B, lot 324, 02-1, case ZBA 2022-02. Oh, if you could please, come up to the table and just make sure that the microphone is on. It's got to be lit bright green. And then if you, do we do the sign in?
Yeah.
Still?
Just state your name for the record.
My name is John Getz. I'm the CEO.
It might not be on.
Press it should be bright green. There you go.
Okay, hear me now? Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is John Getz. I'm the CEO at Home Health and Hospice Care in Merrimack. And I appreciate you letting us bring this variance request to the board. And I think most of you are probably familiar with Home Health and Hospice Care because we have a strong presence in the community. And there are two community hospice houses in the state of New Hampshire, one in Concord and the one down here in Merrimack. The one in Concord is 10 beds. This one is 10 beds as well. And we've really appreciated the support of the neighbors over the last 21 years since we've had the house and the town. The fire and the police department, and everybody's been wonderful supporting this service. And as a result, and we are a nonprofit organization, as a result, we've been able to provide these valuable services to folks in Merrimack and the surrounding towns as well. We would like to, in order to meet future need, we would like to expand and add 6 more beds. And certainly that's the only space, certainly that we can add to that physical space there. And I know that's why we're coming before you and you have a lot of questions. And I'll ask Jason from TF Moran to answer those, more technical questions. But if you have any questions at this point for me, I'm happy to, answer those.
No, you absolutely can continue, and just when we do get to the 5 points of the variance, if you could just pause between each one in case we have questions about that.
So Jason?
Okay.
Thank you. My name is Jason Hill. I'm a project manager with TF Moran. Thank you for hearing this case tonight. I was going to give just a quick walkthrough of the site plan, which we're looking at on the screen, and you all should have a copy of. And then I wanted to run briefly through the architecture of the proposed addition with the project architect, Roger Schaefer. And then I'll just review the questions and the criteria conditions. I'm just gonna walk you generally through the site. I presume some of you are familiar with the project. This is Natticook Road running along the north side of the site. We're almost at the intersection of 101A, so this is the extreme south end of the town. It's also bordered by Continental Boulevard. That's a controlled access frontage. There's no existing curb cuts from Continental Boulevard. The access is provided to the site via this two-way drive, private drive, loop road there's approximately 48 parking spaces around the perimeter drive and of this satellite lot, and there's a small parking field primarily for staff along the north side of the site. You have the existing facility in the beige, which is centered on the property. We have a courtyard, landscaped open space to the east of that area of the main facility. There's a series of walkways and just landscaped beds and such for basically a park, open space amenity, and such that we have a fire lane that runs around the back connecting to, that's Christiana Road, which is single-family residences. This site is primarily surrounded by single-family residential. There is some conservation land across from Continental Boulevard to the south. And so the proposed site the existing site's roughly 4¼ acres. It's zoned in the R4 district. It's serviced by public water and sewer, and it has, I guess, the access I've already talked about to Natticook Road. There's a this project is to have basically a two-part addition, which consists of a patient care pod in the southeast corner of the site, which is this building here, which is a new 6-bed patient care pod of 6,183 square feet. And on the north side of the site, in the location of the existing service drive, we're proposing a 1,910 square foot support wing addition for such support equipment for the staff, things of that nature, storage space, equipment, things of that nature. The existing facility has 10 beds. We're proposing to increase the capacity to 16 beds. There's really adequate parking given if you actually look at the zoning, it would require, the similar use would require a much less of a parking demand. They've also, in their experience, observed that the parking is adequate for the existing use, and we foresee that the parking is adequate for our expansion as well, as we have roughly 50 spaces, little short of 50, and under the zoning, the strict requirements, if we were to apply those, I think it would be in the range of 15 to 20 spaces. And then finally, looking at the proposed site plan, we'll have just a relocation of a fire access, which is sidewalk basically, which is also a fire access route connection that exists to Christiana Road, where we have a gate, the existing gate here. And that's just obviously a relocation around the proposed foundation. to support that. And then obviously we'll have, well, to facilitate the operations, there'll be some pathways into the open space that will provide the patients with direct access from their suites into the open space amenity, for that benefit to those patients. Roger, if you'd like to run through the architecture briefly, I'd like to load that for you all to have a quick look at.
I'm content. You don't need to-
Okay, never mind then.
What's that?
We'll retain you in case they had questions on the architecture. So they're content, so we won't want to, this is just a quick view of the black and white elevation view of the proposed facility. So, which consists of a single story addition with matching architectural style to what is existing, which is an upgraded, finish with nicely landscaped and irrigated landscape beds. So I'm going to discuss briefly the 5 criteria, and our proposed response to those criteria. Criteria 1 and 2 are interrelated. They're usually considered together because observing the spirit of the ordinance in and of itself is considered to be in the public interest. The public interest is infringed when a variance would unduly and in a markedly degree conflict with the ordinance in such a way as to violate the basic objectives of that ordinance. There are 2 methods to test that. One would granted the variance alter the essential character of the neighborhood? And secondly, would the granting of the variance threaten public health, safety, welfare? This proposal will do neither of those. The nature of the facility is to provide quality hospice care in a residential setting. The facility is designed to look and function in a quiet and unobtrusive way that complements a residential neighborhood. It's been serving patients in this location for over 20 years, and in that time, it has become an accepted part of the neighborhood. The facility is well screened, generates little noise, lighting, waste, traffic, and will not place a burden on the public schools, public safety, public works, or other municipal services. The proposed support wing will not remove any of the natural buffer between the site and the abutting properties. It will be constructed in the vicinity of the existing staff parking area. Integral in the functionality of this facility is to screen abutting properties to provide a peaceful and private setting for its own residents. The new patient care wing will preserve the natural vegetated buffer that effectively screens the facility from the abutting houses. There'll be a dense forest. The existing woods is comprised of various evergreen trees and shrubbery, and it will preserving at least a 50-foot depth at its minimum of that natural buffer. And so the building has also been designed and orientated so that the long way faces north to south, as to encroach into the existing open space rather than to encroach into the natural woodland buffer. And then finally, we're proposing a new berm with some landscaping to increase the screening to Continental Boulevard. That'll be designed during the planning board phase. So for these reasons, we are meeting the objectives of those particular variance criteria. The third of the 5 standards is that the granting of the variance will result in substantial justice. The substantial justice in context of a variance is guided by 2 rules. 1, any loss to the individual that is not outweighed by a gain to the public is an injustice. Secondly, is the proposed development consistent with the area's present use? So this meets that standard in several ways. The granting will allow, as John mentioned, enable the facility to expand its high-quality hospice services, representing a substantial gain to the applicant and to the community at large. The present use of the immediate area is single-family homes, predominantly 3/4 acre lots. This proposed expansion remains consistent with the
the density of that district, in that if you really developed this parcel with residential single families at the Merrimack average of 3.5 beds per home, you'd end up with 6 driveways of 21 bedrooms, whereas we're proposing, a single drive with 16 bedrooms. As such, this density is appropriate for this area, and the facility is an attractive single-story structure with peaked roofs, windows, well-maintained landscaping that is similar in character to the surrounding homes. And that finally, we're preserving the naturally vegetated buffer that effectively screens this facility from some abutting homes on Continental Boulevard. Fourth, so for those reasons, the variance will provide substantial justice to my client. The fourth criteria is the diminution of surrounding property value. So this project, this use exists on the existing property. It's been in existence for over 20 years. We're preserving an extensive natural screening buffer to the surrounding residential neighborhoods, such that the views will not be materially affected. And for those reasons, this will not diminish the surrounding property values. We submitted a copy of a letter from a professional realtor at Keller Williams that would further document, in his opinion, this criteria is met by the project. I have a copy if it's needed, if any of the board needs a copy. And then finally, the fifth criteria is that the literal enforcement of these provisions of the ordinance would not result, or will result in an unnecessary hardship if this variance was denied. 2 parts of that: owning to the special conditions of the property, which distinguishes it from other properties in this area. No fair and substantial relationship exists between the general purposes of the ordinance provisions and the specific application on this property. This is a unique property from other properties in the area, and such that its particular size and triangular shape, with 800 feet of frontage along Continental Boulevard, and the surrounding developed lots are generally smaller and rectangular. So this large, irregularly shaped lot and the placement of the structures on this and surrounding lots allow for substantial buffers to the surrounding homes, in some cases many hundred feet. So these are further supported by the granting of the original variance, which was in 1999 approximately. And finally, this is a reasonable use because this is, as I've said before, has been in operation for over 20 years, 21 years. It demonstrates compatibility with the existing residential setting. It's a modest expansion which doesn't materially alter, which does not materially reduce the setback distances or create any perceptible increase in noise, lighting, traffic on the surrounding neighborhood, and thus does not alter the character of this neighborhood. So that's my presentation for the moment. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
All right, thank you very
Hopefully I
much.
didn't keep it too long.
No worries. Any questions from the board? No? All right, well, at this point, I think what we'll do, since we don't have any questions, is open up the public portion.
Sure.
Is there anyone that's looking to speak in favor of this petition? Is there anyone that's looking to speak against this particular petition? All right, we'll go ahead and close the public portion of this. And is anyone looking to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve home health and hospice care petitioner owner variance under section 2.02.1A of the zoning ordinance to permit the expansion of an existing hospice facility in the R4 residential district where not permitted. The parcel is located at 210 Natticook Road in the R4 residential and aquifer conservation districts. Tax map 2B lot 324021, case number ZBA 2022-02, with staff recommendations that they receive a plot plan, I think? petitioner plan approval from the planning board for the expansion of the facility. I've seen this facility. This is definitely worth pushing forward. I've seen they do a good job of it.
It's a definite need, and
Yeah,
I'm pleased to see you're doing that.
yeah, very happy to see that. So,
All right, motion made by Patrick, seconded by Lynn, all in favor?
aye.
Aye. 500. Motion passes.
Therapy dog with you if you want.
Thank you very much, board. Appreciate your time.
Absolutely, and just so you know, there's still a 30-day window where someone could appeal it, but other than that, congratulations and good luck.
Thank you as well.
Kind of narrowed down, isn't it?
Oh, is it okay? Yeah. Oh, come and sit with me. Thank you very much.
Yep, I was just gonna wait for the. All right, for the second petition of the evening. Christopher Poling, petitioner, owner, variance under section 3.02 of the zoning ordinance to permit the construction of a shed 42 feet from the rear property line, whereas 60 feet is required. The parcel is located at 6 Harrington Drive in the R1 Residential by Map District, tax map 5B, lot 245, case ZBA 2022-03, and could you please state your names for our public record?
Christopher Poling.
Megan Poling.
All right. You want to go ahead and tell us a little bit about what you're looking to do?
Sure. I moved into the house in 2015, and there was already a shed pre-built. It was a extremely large shed, you know, not in great condition. Fast forward, it was falling apart, so I took it down and went to buy a new shed. Unbeknownst to me that it was outside of the minimum setback. It was 10 by 20 foot. The previous one was larger, so I had it leveled out, and then I needed a permit for it, so hence I needed to receive a variance because it's actually measured back about 42 feet instead of 60 feet from the end of the property line. And unfortunately, there's really no other location to actually put the shed because the land is at a slope and we're already putting in a pool. So the rest of the land is in complete disarray, and the shed is due to be assembled soon-ish. So that's the whole kind of situation.
And essentially, you're looking to just place it
Exactly where
footprint
the
of
old
what-
one was.
Okay.
It's actually smaller than the old one, but because it's 10 by 20, it's over the 160 square foot, so that's why I need the variance.
Oh, it makes total sense.
So, sorry to put you out on this. So yeah, so that's the situation.
Absolutely. And if you want to go ahead and just step through the criteria for the variance?
Sure, I don't have a lengthy thing like the gentleman before me because this is my first time around.
It's
So
okay.
I've just
It's perfect. Yeah. Preferred.
Okay.
You'll hear no complaints from us.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So I'm just going to read this as it comes. I'll pause for questions if you have any, and then I'm open to any. In order to permit a 10 by 20 foot shed to be built on top of the older footprint of a larger shed which has been taken down, the footprint goes beyond the minimum setback by 18 feet. It would be 42 feet from the rear property line, whereas 60 feet is required. The number one, granting the variance would not be contrary to the public interest because it does not alter the character of the neighborhood. There should be a map in there so you can see the location. It would not change the natural environment or impact the wetlands. Number two, the spirit of the ordinance is observed because it, as again per one, it does not impact private rights of others or crowding of the land because it's set back beyond everybody.
Okay.
Number three, granting the variance would do substantial justice because the new shed would be placed literally on top of the older shed footprint, which would not require the homeowner to seek another location, endure extra excavation costs and payment penalty with the shed provider or installer. Number four, granting the variance would not diminish the values of surrounding properties because the shed would be placed literally on the older large shed was. This would not visually impact the street nor the neighboring properties. There's trees all around. It literally cannot be seen. Number 5, unnecessary hardship. Due to the location of our existing, it's semi-existing pool, it's a shell right now, and lack of level land, and the fact that the shed will be located over the old footprint, this is the only location suitable to house the pool materials and lawnmower. The proposed use is a reasonable one because it is replacing the existing structure that was falling apart and unsafe. The new structure would supply enough room for the pool equipment and protect them from the elements.
All right, perfect, thank you. Anyone on the board have any questions about this petition?
It's pretty straightforward. I mean, the lots, we actually had this discussion beforehand, non-conforming lots and, yeah. It's just,
Anytime somebody in Merrimack wants to build a shed or a garage, they have to come here. It's just the way it is.
Right.
So,
I was unaware of that when we actually ordered the shed, and I was like, they called me up and said, "Do you have the permit?" I was like, "Permit?" So hence that's why I'm doing it so late in the stage. So
no worries. Yeah, it won't be the last.
probably not.
I know this is gonna seem silly, but I still have to technically do it, so I'm gonna go ahead and open the public portion of this. Is there anyone looking to speak in favor, against, any comment or concern? Take that as a no. I'll go ahead and close that. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve Christopher Pooling, petitioner, was it Pooling, right?
Polling.
Polling,
Yeah.
sorry about that.
That's okay, no problem.
Christopher
thanks.
Pooling, petitioner owner, variance under section 3.02 of the zoning ordinance to permit the construction of a shed 42 feet from the rear property line where 60 feet is required. The parcel is located at 6 Harrington Drive in the R1 Residential by Map District, Tax Map 5B, Lot 245, case number ZBA 2022-03, no staff recommendations.
All right, motion made by Patrick, seconded by Ben. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 500. So, I do have to let you know you have 30 days, but I mean, the chances of that happening are minimal, but I still have to let you know.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You all set?
But
Okay.
absolutely, you're good to go.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Have a nice night.
Take care.
Have a good one.
Do we have any discussion of other items?
Yes.
What's discussion of other items?
We are about to have a full complement on the planning board. I've browbeat a couple of people into coming on ZBA. We still need people on ZBA, so if people are out in the audience and they want to find something to do that's fun, one evening a month, it's not a huge commitment, please, we need people to step up.
We have 2 alternate positions, right?
Correct.
Correct.
So please, if I can learn to do it, you can learn to do it.
I agree, they should join. I see people posting on Facebook
Yep.
comments and stuff like that, and
Why don't you do this, and how come you let this go? But if you're gonna complain, you need to step up and sit here and you make the decision.
yeah, come
great.
on in and help us make those decisions that you
Yep.
don't like.
As long as it's an impartial decision.
So I can retire.
I'm not far behind you.
All right.
I'll get off my soapbox.
The only discussion I have is, you know what, I've got nothing. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Anything from staff?
Nope, nothing tonight.
All right, motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Well, so who made the motion?
I did.
Lynn? The motion made by Lynn, seconded by Ben.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
I
I abstain, so is that 401?
Make a motion, we adjourn. Can I do that this quick?
You may.
Second.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're out.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Not even 7:30. Good job, Rich.
We didn't break any records, but we did good time.
All right, Dookie. Come on.
I don't like breaking my record.